There has been slightly promoters and FI stake going down in the last 1 year.
I think that's a totally wrong statement. Promoter stake has increased in the last 1 year by about 2.5%, well within the norms of creeping acquisition. And FI stakes will go up and down. Those are market conditions. I cannot say anything. But in all fairness, I don't think there's any percentage drop in terms of whether FI holdings are concerned. And definitely there's an increase in terms of promoter holding over the last 1 year. I shouldn't say not only last 1 year. Since the time we did the QIP in December of 2007, the promoter has constantly gone out and bought more and more shares because of the conviction it has in this business model. So there is no ways that there is any kind of reduction in promoter holding.
What do you attribute to the growth in top line and bottom line in the last 1 year?
In the last 1 year, actually, top line and bottom line was improved substantially because obviously the economy globally bounced back, number one. Number two, our rail business now with 15 rakes had started, and only in the last quarter of 2010-11 or last 4 months of 2010-11, the first free trade warehousing zone with only 3 warehouses has started. So really the kick-in of top line and bottom line has come in has expanded over the previous year because of these factors.
What rate of CAGR do you expect in next 2 years?
Well, these are, this kind of a question is something that I would not be able to answer first and foremost. Secondly, if India itself is looking at growing at about 8 to 10%, the kind of inefficiencies that are there in this sector allows for us to grow at even 100%. So, it is a question of not opportunity, it's a question of how fast can we deliver the infrastructure, how fast can we create value propositions for our customers, how fast can we execute seamlessly. So these are all factors that will depend on the CAGR growth will depend on. So all of these are not easy things. Today when you operationalize yourself, you're talking of adding in this, for example, in this quarter we are planning to add about 1100 white collared people beside blue collared people. You can imagine what will the ratio be of white collared to blue collared. Now getting them trained, getting them the seating space in office, getting them equipments like laptops or computers and all of that, it is a lot of hard work that happens behind growth. And Arshiya has proven time and again that it has been able to deliver, whether it is growth, whether it is taking people on board, whether it is fundraising, whether it is land acquisition. So growth will come and it will come probably, I would say, I would not restrict myself in saying even it could be a 3-digit, it's a three-digit number, like 100%, 150% also. But would that satisfy me? I'm not sure. I can grow even faster than that, but the fact is that we need to give flawless, seamless services to our customers where real value addition can happen and value proposition is proved. For that, sometimes we may have to compromise on growth, because for India this whole sector is pioneering new. It's a very infant sector, it's a sunrise sector, so talent is not most easily available in this sector. So growth is a function of many things. It's not only a function of what you put in and what you get out. In this case, it's services plus infrastructure, land acquisition issues, training, people. So a lot of factors will affect, and these are certain variables on which one can't have and say, okay, I will do this and it will happen for sure tomorrow. Customers, what their requirements are may change from time to time, and each customer is very, very unique in his requirements, and our value proposition are also very, very unique for these customers whose requirements are very different. So growth is something that I would say could be anything. There is no restriction on it, but potential is just enormous.
Your operating profit margin has increased substantially from 10.76% to 19.47%, but not the net profit margin in the same ratio.
Well, you need to appreciate that operating margins have obviously increased because we've added on more and more services, but as a company you'll realize that we are building, for example, we've started first 3 warehouses in the first free trade warehousing zone that we've built. In the first phase, not on day 1 my first 3 warehouses were full, but for me to go and get people trained, get them employed, put them on our rolls, pay their salaries, pay for their training, had to be done on day 1 itself when we started. And this process of really getting the warehouse full takes about 2 to 3 months. Today we are full, but your expenditure starts much before your revenues start rolling in. So obviously you will see a difference in the operating margins being very high and your net profit margins not being so high, because your cost of people and infrastructure that you build for the people is going to come ahead of the revenues kicking in. So you are going to see this gap for a little while, but this situation will change. This is a very normal cycle in any business.
Which Indian listed company can be compared to your line of business?
Fortunately, none.